I'm Jake Nicholls, I'm 28 years old, I'm a professional motocross rider from Ipswich in England. I've been racing motocross since I was 6 years old and I've been riding it since I was 3. I got into racing through my father. He rode motocross when he was younger, and then he raced quads. And when I was young, I was obviously around bikes, and they could tell straight away that I was into it. And then I think we went to a bike shop when I was 2 or 3 years old, and liked the look of a bike and wouldn't get off it, and was adamant I wanted one. And luckily enough, got bought one and started riding it straight away. And yeah, sort of went from there really, and yeah, my first race was on my 6th birthday, so got going pretty quick. I started racing, like I said, when I was 6, and you sort of, you have a good 10 years in schoolboy racing where really, when you're in it, I remember thinking like I had to do well every weekend, otherwise I was never going to make it as a professional rider, but it actually doesn't even matter. But I wish I could tell myself that, my younger self that, because it really doesn't matter until your last year in schoolboy racing. So for me, my last year was when I was 15. And I started doing well, and I had my sights set on being a professional when I was 16. And so, yeah, but if I could go back, I'd say I'd take a lot of stress away from it, because I was always so hit up on making sure that I was professional by the time I was 16 and in the adult class. But yeah, so I mean, I raced automatics when I was 6, and then 65cc, which is like a 7 to 12 class. And I raced that until I was 10, and then I moved up to 85cc. And then I rode that until I was about 12, and then I grew really quick. And so I started riding 125, but I wasn't old enough to race it. So I sort of had about a year of not really racing much. And then I started on a 125 when I was 13 with a Dutch licence because I couldn't get an English licence because of the age. And then I raced in England at 14 and 15 on a 254 stroke in like it was called the Premier class, which was the last schoolboy class before you go up into adults. And then I went straight into professional adult racing before I was 16 at the end of when I was 15 and a half. And then I raced in the Pro 250 division for 7 years in that and got up to the World Championship level. And to this date now, from the age of 23, I've been on a 450 in the MX1 class. It was a year ago, almost to the day, I dislocated my hip in a World Championship race, and I'd been struggling a little bit. It was the 4th round of the World Championship, or 5th round, sorry, and I was struggling a little bit. I hadn't had the best of results. I think my best had been an 11th in the race, but I just wasn't really enjoying it. We'd been travelling, we'd done Qatar, Thailand, Indonesia. I just hadn't been enjoying it, the travelling and the racing. And I had, when I did dislocate my hip, I didn't even crash. I slid my leg out awkwardly as I went round a turn. It popped out, and like I said, I didn't crash, so it wasn't like, when you have a big crash, you're like, when you come round or when you get up, you're sort of like, that was my fault. But this one, I didn't really do anything wrong. Obviously I did, but it wasn't like a big mistake, and I had it was the most serious injury I've ever had. And at the time, straight away, I'd kind of been doubting myself, I think deep down, but hadn't really kind of realised, doubting myself that I was good enough, that I was enjoying it enough to carry on in the World Championships. And as soon as the injury happened, I sort of said there and then in my head, right, that's it, I'm not racing this. I think really it was just the fact that the travelling had become so much. I was away from home so much. And for me, like, I was outside of the top 10, and so you're on a real like 2nd tier team to be in World Championship, because the teams have to have so much budget to go to the races that when you're not on a top team, the budget's less and less, and so you get less support. And my bike wasn't very good. I wasn't enjoying it. I was struggling a bit for support. And the level is so high. I mean, that weekend I remember the session before I did my hip, it was a timed qualifying session. I was 2.5 seconds off first place, and I was 22nd in the time. So I was like, I remember, I'll never forget my mechanic telling me as he was washing my boots, I said, where did I get? Because I felt like I did a really good lap time. And he was like, oh yeah, it was your lap time was a lot better. I was like, oh, okay, where did I end up? And he was like 22nd. I was like 2 years ago, 2 years prior, or 3 years prior to that, I was 4th in the world, and then I'm getting told I was 22nd, and I was like, so at that point, I'd had enough of it really. And my career's changed a lot now. I'm a national championship rider rather than a world championship rider, and I'm enjoying it a lot more and less travelling, but I'm still racing as much. Like, I've raced every weekend since the middle of March, and I'm just enjoying it more, and I think I'm riding better as well. Motocross means everything to me. I mean, it's literally all I've ever done. I wasn't particularly good at school because I would sit there and just dream about riding the whole time. I remember as clear as day Monday mornings at school, I would just be in a daze just thinking about the racing, and then the rest of the week it was just counting down the days till I could ride on the weekend, or in the summer it was counting down the hours till I could get home and ride in the garden. You know, and it's always been everything to me. Like I said, I started riding when I was 3, racing when I was 6. I broke 42 or 3 bones through doing motocross, and literally, you know, to this day I don't think about it at all. I just can't wait to do it again. And like, I'll go home after this and go and watch videos on my iPad all night until I go to sleep. I fall asleep every night watching a video of racing, and it's not through, you know, making myself study it and, oh, I need to watch this video to learn. Or it's just, I just love it. And like I said, I've had so many downs with it. I've had a lot of ups, but I've had a lot of downs with it, but I still just love it. And it doesn't matter, it's not because of the level I'm at or anything like that. I just literally, you know, even if I wasn't professional, I'd still just do it and just love the bikes, love the racing, love the tracks, love the dirt, everything about it. You know, I'm only 28, so and my body, considering I've had injuries, is in really good shape. So I'll be racing until I stop enjoying it, and I enjoy it so much now. So I'll be racing for the foreseeable future and trying to win British titles, because I've been close a few times, but the priority until now has always been World Championship. So the national title came second. So if it meant the week of the national race training a bit less to be ready for the World Championship the following week, the national race would almost get neglected a little bit, whereas now the national championship is everything. So you know, I want to win the championship, and from here on out as well in the next few years to come. But you know, I'll be riding for as long as I can. I enjoy it too much to not ride, and yeah, I'll be going for the title for the next few years, I'd say.